This is the 2025 Mazda CX-5 2.5S Select. Is it the ultimate compact crossover SUV? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're at Family Mazda in Bossier City, Louisiana, and we're going to go over the particulars on this CX-5. If you'd like to know more about this model and maybe come in and buy it, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color is called Platinum Quartz Metallic and has a black interior. Looking at the front end, you could never mistake it for anything else other than a Mazda. Even if you took that logo off the crest right there in the center of the grille, you still know what you're looking at. LED projector beam headlights, and we'll also have the LED daytime running lights. Gonna have a combination of some finishes here. Now, the chrome, I think, is done very tastefully. Not too much, not too little. It's just right as far as the trim right around this area right here. And obviously gloss black with the grille. It looks right. Gonna have some body color down here on the front end as well, quite a bit of that. But in the area where it really counts, you're gonna have the matte black finish right down here, because that's gonna obviously see the rock chips and things like that potentially coming, but that won't show as much as gloss black. And we're gonna have 17-inch wheels. By the way, this model is all-wheel drive. So if you're in an area where you need all-wheel drive or just want that for whatever driving situations you may run into, well, that is something that is available on this trim level. Now, these are manually folding side view mirrors. They are power adjustable. Your turn signal indicator built in. Here is the remote. Now, you'll find that the buttons are not on the face of the remote, they're on the side. You have lock, unlock, and that is your panic button right down there. You'll notice it has that exclamation mark. That lets you know that's what that is. And you do have the ability to come and push the button on the front doors right here to lock and unlock all four doors. Now, this particular model does not have a sunroof. For those of you who do want that, that's obviously an available option. You're gonna have the body-colored shark fin antenna, the rear roof spoiler, and when you need it, there is your rear window wiper. And the design of the taillights is somewhat similar as far as just the design itself to what we saw with the headlights. And something that I like back here, maybe it's just because I might be a little more OCD than I might realize, you have the dual exhaust, much better than having just one. Speaking of that, what is being exhausted? Let's open the hood and we'll talk about it. Under the hood is the 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine. It makes 187 horsepower and 186 pounds-feet of torque. And one thing that might be a little bit of a surprise to some people, it is not mated to a CVT. That's good news. I know a lot of you are not fans of the CVT, or continuously variable transmission. It's a 6-speed automatic. How about your MPGs? 23 city, 29 highway, 25 combined, and 4 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And speaking of gas, to gain access to your gas tank, you're gonna pull that lever right there. You have a gas cap as opposed to capless fuel fill, and when you fill up, you have a 15.3 gallon gas tank. I'm curious to know what you think about the towing capability of the CX-5. It can tow up to 2,000 pounds. Tell me what you think about that. Did you expect less? And depending on how you set things up back here, you're looking at 29.1 up to 58.1 cubic feet of cargo space. And if you're here in the rear area, you have the releases right here that you can use to lower the seats. However, there is something I wanted to show you, and that is the fact that this release right here, if you just want to lower that middle seat and create a pass-through, you can do that. And then we can obviously lower the other seats. I do need to move that front seat forward a little bit. And now you can see how everything looks with the seats lower down, maximizing your cargo capacity. And something else that I know is extremely good news for a lot of people, it brings a lot of peace of mind, and that is the presence of a spare tire. Now, one thing you'll also notice is that you can change the position of the floor a little bit. So there is some capability to change things up depending on your situation. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. And you can see that we've lowered the floor right there. And we'll also have the sections behind the fender wells that allow for a little bit more space. There's also going to be a 12-volt power outlet back here in case you need to connect something. And if you're wondering where the tools are to change the spare tire, put the spare tire on if you need to, they're going to be located right there. Obviously, you can take this front section of the floor out to make things very easy. Both sections come out all the way, by the way, to make gaining access to everything there as easy as possible. And one more thing I wanted to show you. Via this release, you can lower that middle seat back to create the pass-through I was telling you about earlier. Now, if that's still connected to the seat over here, you can use this release and it will lower both at the same time. Let's talk about what your second row passengers are going to find. Plenty of room with both armrests. A lot of people will use this one down here. It's nice and comfortable, and there's a large door bin. And something that I know a lot of you like to know about, but I can't always tell you that it's here, but it is in this case, you can recline these seats. It's just a little tiny bit. I don't know if you can even see that on the screen, but it does recline just a tick from its more conventional position right there. And we'll have the fold down armrest. Let me see if I can get my hand in there with the cup holders built in, and also some space within that area. And you can see a couple of USB ports right there. And I show that to you because you won't find those on the rear of the center console, but they are here. It's good to know that. And if you want to lower the middle seat back without going to the cargo area back there, you can use this release right here. Let's hop inside real quick, see what we have in the way of space. There is a lot of space back here. Now keep in mind, I'm 5'10", so there's how much space I have above my head. Actually quite a bit. That's a nice thing. And in case the driver drops the hammer on 187 horsepower, there's oh crap handles at every door. Yes, it's okay to laugh. Rear seat pockets right here, something a little more conventional, we'll say. But I like the space back here overall. Now the seats are fairly far forward right now so that I could lower the seat backs down. But even when they're further back, I would still be comfortable back here for quite a long time. And how about that all-important question that I know a lot of you want to know about who actually watch the videos, instead of just asking in the comment section, what is the sticker price? $31,530 for this particular model. Let's talk about what else you get for that price beyond what I've already shown you. Now, you'll have plenty of room again with the armrest and larger door bins on the front doors, the armrest a little bit longer. Now, there is one difference between the driver and the passenger seats, and that is that the driver's seat is a 6-way power adjustable seat. The passenger seat is also 6-way adjustable, but it's manually adjustable. Both seats are heated. Nice to have that feature right there. Maybe not so much needed now for most of us, but I don't know, some of you may still be dealing with some cool weather. But here in Northwest Louisiana, we really don't need it. But there is the glove box, plenty of room within that area. And we'll take a look over here at the driver's side door. Everything for controlling your side view mirrors right there. So you just click over or dial over to the left or to the right, and then you just make your adjustments from there. Lock and unlock. You can lock your windows so your passengers can't roll those down, but you can via all of the switches right there if you want to. And you have a lever right underneath, a release right there that you can let down and adjust the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescopically adjustable, as you can see right there. And for those of you that like maybe a little bit more of an old school look, we have the analog gauges here. So that's a good thing for those of you who might want that. And you can go through and see what all you have right there. There's your steering wheel mounted controls, pretty easy to figure out. I probably don't need to tell you too much about that. Everything for your front and rear window wipers and the turn signal indicators. Make sure to keep your turn signal fluid reservoir full. And everything to control your headlights right there. You can leave that on auto if you want to, or just turn them off, depends on your situation. The steering wheel is nice and comfortable. I like that. And our upper console, you can turn your lights on if you need to, the map lights right there. And we have a sunglass holder. Some vehicles are not coming with a sunglass holder anymore, but you'll still find that here. Now, here is your screen. Now, this is not a touch screen. However, everything can be controlled right here. I don't think that's a big deal. Some people might say it is, but one of the things I like about this is that you can do everything by feel when you memorize where all the buttons and the controls are down there and select whatever you need to. You just push on the dial right here to select what I just did right there. And then you can obviously go home and do all that good stuff. But some people might say I'd rather have a touch screen, but I like the way that works just for the ease and convenience, because when it's a touch screen, you're going to have to take your eyes off the road a little longer to look if you need to do something, as opposed to what you can do by just using it by feel down there. At least that's my opinion on the matter. Now we'll run through a few things that we have here. You have your navigation information right there. If you want to go in and look at what we have right there, you have your fuel efficiency monitor. Show you some of the graphics and information that is here. If you need to take a look at what's going on there. And we can go back home, go back to entertainment, and let you see what's going on there. I'm not going to look at everything, but just to give you an idea of some of the things that are here. Navigation, there's your settings. We'll go through and just show you what's here real quick. Vehicle settings, as you can see, connectivity, system settings, it's all here. Nice accompanying graphics that go along with everything there. And we'll go into reverse and take a look at the rear view camera. There's your view. Now that's the only camera on this model, but at least it's there. You won't find any vehicles in this day and age, at least in the United States, that do not have backup cameras, so that's always going to be there. And we have our dual zone climate control here in the front seat area. Pretty self-explanatory, I would say, as far as how all of that works. And we'll have some connectivity down here as well. You'll have another 12-volt power outlet, and we're also going to have our conventional style shifter. That's always nice to have. And if you want to go into sport mode, all you do is push this selector right here. And you're going to see right down here where that P is. Notice when I push that, it says sport. So you know you're in sport mode if you do that. And if you push it back the other way, that goes off and you're not in sport mode. Pretty power parking brake, auto hold. If you're not familiar with what auto hold is, that's when you come to a complete stop, the vehicle will not disengage the brakes until you touch the gas pedal again. There's your knob for the radio, for turning that on and off and controlling the volume, cup holders, and the center console. Now this is removable, the little tray right there. If you're wondering about USB ports, this is where you're going to find them. So you do have USB ports. It's not that there are only USB ports for the back seat, but much like what we saw with the back seat area, they're going to be located within that center console area. What is it like to drive this CX-5? Well, for me, I'll say the ride quality is comfortable. I've only been on, well, just one basic road surface, so hard to say on multiple road surfaces how the experience would be. But for me, I think it works. The driver's seat is very comfortable. A lot of adjustability is built into that. So whether you're 6 feet tall plus, or maybe around 5 feet tall, or maybe a little bit below, you can adjust the steering wheel and the driver's seat to make sure that you are positioned just right. Plenty of room. Just like I talked about with the back seat, there's obviously plenty of room here in the front seat as well. And the steering is very responsive. That's a good thing. Now, I haven't stepped on the pedal too hard just yet, so we'll try and see if we can do that as we get up the road here to see how the CX-5 accelerates with 187 horsepower under the hood. But that's a pretty common or close to common number when compared to some competitors, most competitors, but I would imagine it's going to do just fine. And we'll try in sport mode as well. Easy to see out of, I like that. The windows are nice and big. I like that the back window is big, so it's easy to see out of or with the rear view mirror. And one thing I didn't talk about, you saw the lever on the rear view mirror where you can flip that down if you need to help not having anybody blind you who's driving behind you with LED headlights or their high beams on. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference in this day and age. But everything is easy to get to. I like that. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say the one thing I don't like, Tom, is the fact that there is not a touch screen in that model, in the CX-5. Well, I understand, but like I said earlier in the video, for me, I think that would be no big deal. I do have a touch screen in my own personal vehicle, but I don't find myself using it too often when I'm driving most of the time, mainly because I want to be able to, I'll stay a little more focused when it comes to the driving situation. But I feel like having the controls down here, the physical controls, is better for something like that as opposed to having a touch screen. Now, I'm going to get on the pedal just a little bit here. Not too bad on acceleration. We're going to slow down some. I'll go into sport mode and let's see. Now there is a little bit of a difference. I'm not going to say it's a massive difference, but it is noticeable. as far as going from your normal driving mode into your sport mode. So when you get into those situations where you need to accelerate a little bit faster, maybe merging onto the interstate or something like that, then go into sport mode. It should take care of you. You're not looking for neck snapping performance here for the price point. I don't think a lot of people are looking for high numbers of horsepower, but in my opinion, I think it gets the job done. Now, that's why I like to say you need to drive these vehicles for yourself. That way you can determine what will and won't work for you. But you might find out that it's a little bit better than you've expected. And with that 6-speed automatic transmission, that helps as well, considering the fact that you don't have a CVT here. So there are obviously a lot of advantages to that. You don't have the droning and all that kind of issue that you tend to run into with the CVTs that are in some other competitors out there. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. I think it's very practical as far as if this is the size SUV that you're looking for everyday driving. Easy to get around. It's very, very maneuverable. I like that, a good tight turning radius. And if you live in that area where you do get a lot of snow and ice throughout the winter, more months than not, unlike what we have here, then all-wheel drive is definitely going to serve you well where that is concerned. You've got that extra ground clearance compared to a sedan. So that's going to help too to get around in those situations and just make life a little easier. But whether you want all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, those options are there. So quite a few things going on here that I'd say are very good. I am curious to know. And obviously, we've only done this trim level. This is the first CX-5 I've actually shown on my YouTube channel. We'll try and do others as well beyond this so that you can see what's there and what's available. We'll go to higher trim levels, but obviously there's a lot of things that aren't here that you can expect to find that you might want, depending on your situation, what you want to spend and what your needs are. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2025 Mazda CX-5. Is it the ultimate compact crossover SUV? Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Family Mazda in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this CX-5 for the day so I could tell you all about it, and a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and if you would, share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.